What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. And for today's weekend news video, we actually have some brand new support cards for two different archetypes. But you guys are wondering, what are those archetypes? Well, they are known as the Albaz and Solfachord archetypes, and apparently Albaz has new support for some of the different archetypes that are basically surrounding the archetype, including Sword Soul, Tri-Brigade, as well as Branded as well, which is pretty cool. And the new Solfachord support, I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking at these cards, and I'm kind of a bit underwhelmed by it because honestly there are only two cards in. There are only two new support cards, so that's why I decided to combine the new Solfachord support with the new Albaz support all into one video, because I got a little underwhelmed, because you guys know. Hang on, let me move my camera back up towards me. There we go. There we go. Anyway, you guys know that every time we get a brand new core set, there's always, like, with each archetype that gets new support, usually it's about like 6, maybe 7, up to about like 9, maybe 10 new cards. But I got a little underwhelmed, but I'm very curious about what the cards do, so hopefully you guys are ready. If you guys are, and you guys want to see more weekend news videos in the future, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And yeah, as you guys can tell, I have gloves on. I got my Denver Broncos blanket wrapped over my lower body. It's fucking freezing here in LA, and my hands are dry. That's why I got these on. Anyway, with that being said, let's get straight into it with the new Solfachord support. Kicking things off, we have Grand Solfachord Coolio, which is a light fairy Link 3 with 2700 attack, and its arrows are bottom left, bottom right. And it requires 2 or more monsters, including a pendulum monster, and it has 3 separate effects. The first effect reads that it gains 100 attack for each face-up pendulum monster in your extra deck. So depending on how many pendulums you run in your deck, it can go up to possibly like 1500, 3k or something like that. So that's actually not too bad. That's not too shabby. The second effect reads activated effects of pendulum monsters this card points to cannot be negated. Ooh, so not even a card like Solemn Judgment would be able to stop pendulum effects. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. The third effect reads, once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can special summon one Solfachord card with an odd pendulum scale from your pendulum zone to your zone this card points to, and if you do negate the activation, then you can add one Solfachord pendulum monster with an even pendulum scale from your deck to your extra deck face up. So basically, this is your Stratos. This is kind of like your Solemn Judgment Stratos, I guess you could say, with the built-in built-in protection and attack gain. So that's actually not too shabby. There is a bit of a drawback though. The biggest drawback is the first effect, because the thing is that if you overcommit to your board. By the way, shoutouts to Starbucks for the cold brew. Not sponsored, just love their cold brew. In fact, truth be told, there's a Starbucks. I mentioned this before, but there's a Starbucks just right down the street from where I live, and it's almost complete. I think they just gotta landscape the front yard and just deal with the inside. So that's pretty cool. That'll be pretty cool. It shouldn't be no more than maybe another couple weeks. Sorry guys, I had something caught in my eye. There we go. Anyway, that's actually pretty cool, but not sponsored. Just love their cold brew. But Starbucks, maybe, who knows? Who knows? But where was I? Oh, right. The first effect, because so if you were to overcommit to your board, and your opponent doesn't have Nibiru in their hand, you may not be able to get the first effect off because potentially all of your pendulum cards could end up being used as Xyz's material, or they could be banished. So that's why I said that the first effect had a bit of a drawback. Is because of that fact. You could potentially overcommit to your board and you won't be able to get the attack game, which is a bit of a downside. And now for the last card, which is called Solfachord Symphonia, which is a quick play spell, and the effect is a once per turn, and it says apply these effects in sequence based on the number of face-up Solfachord pendulum monsters with different names in your extra deck. 3 or more. All Solfachord pendulum monsters you currently control, excuse me, gain attack equal to their own pendulum scale times 300 until the end of the turn. Holy shit! That's pretty nuts. So with that one effect alone, you could potentially have a well over 3K beater on board. Which could potentially break your opponent's board right off the bat, which is pretty cool. That's actually not too shabby. 5 or more, you can destroy one card your opponent controls. Then if you have a card with an odd pendulum scale in your pendulum zone, draw one card. So this does come as a 1-for-2, but it's a bit of a downfall, you know? I mean, how can I explain it? Obviously, yes, you are slowly trying to break your opponent's board, but you're drawing one card and you're losing one card in the form of the spell itself. So again, that's why I said that it may come as a 1-for-2, but at least you're able to slowly break your opponent's board, which is obviously what you want to see. 7 or more, you can special summon one Grand Solfachord monster from your extra deck. Okay. Not gonna say much about it, except that it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I will admit though, I'm a bit underwhelmed. I think the effects of these cards could have been better, but it is what it is. But now we gotta move on to none other than the new Albaz support, and there's 3 cards, but I will be talking about them anyway in today's video. Kicking things off, we have Sword Soul of Blazing Awakening, which is a normal spell, and both of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads, if you control a synchro monster, target one card in the field or in either graveyard, banish it. So it's basically it's basically call by, but in a normal spell, which is pretty cool. If your opponent controls a ritual, fusion, synchro, exceed, or link monster, you can banish one synchro monster from your grave. Add this card from your grave to your hand. So it's basically an endless loop, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool because you can actually use both effects in the exact same turn, and next turn you can just keep banishing cards and adding this card back to your hand. This would then actually trigger off the effect of number 89, Diablosis the Mind Hacker, where you'll be able to banish even more cards from the top of your opponent's deck, which can easily help you win games right off the bat, which is pretty nuts. Although I will admit, I've seen on YouTube, especially from like back in the day, in the last like 5, maybe 6 years or so, people were actually side decking Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell. So cards like those could potentially come back into the meta and actually stop you from activating a card like Blazing Awakening, which is gonna be not pleasant to say the very least. Next up, we have Tri-Brigade Roar, which is a quick play spell, and it's obviously a once per turn. And the effect reads: if you control a link monster, send one Tri-Brigade card from your deck or extra deck to the grave, then target one effect monster on the field. Apply this card based. Apply this effect based on. Apply the effect based on the type of card set. Monster, change that target's attack to 0 until the end of the turn. Spell, negate that target's effects until the end of the turn. Trap, return that target to the hand. Okay, so it can basically just be. What is it? Dark World Shackles? I think it is. Let me see. I think it is Dark World Shackles. Let's see. I'm literally going on to Nexus right now, so I had to type in my email, so I apologize, guys. Type in my password, and now we go to deck, and I'll pick a random one. I'll choose my Arcana Knight. Oh, by the way, guys, if speaking of decks, if you guys have not seen yesterday's video, I did an update on my Harpy deck. So if you guys have not checked out that video, I recommend you guys check it out. The next deck profile I have, I think, is going to be my Arcana Knight. I didn't really do a whole lot to the deck. I just ended up making a couple changes to both the main to all three decks, the main, the extra, and the side, just a little bit. But let's see. Oh, right, Dark World Shackles. I believe it's. Let's see. I believe Dark World Shackles. I want to see about something. Let's go card type, spell. Okay, well, let's try equip. There's nothing. Yeah, so Dark World Shackles, I think. Okay, here it is. Yeah. Okay, Dark World Shackles. The equipped monster cannot attack. Also, its attack defense become 100 during each of your standby phases. Inflict 500 damage to the controller of the equipped monster. Okay, yeah. So it's sort of similar to Dark World Shackles, but just a little bit different, if you will. Because I know that there were some decks that were that would actually main that card against I think what was it, Pepe? I think it was. Which if you guys don't know Pepe, that was arguably one of the most broken decks in the meta in 2016 for like maybe a month or so or something like that. Which it consists of the Perform House and the Performage monsters. So, but basically it's Dark World Shackles, Imperm, Compulse rolled into a quick play spell. That's pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. But it just depends on what card type you send to your graveyard. You get to actually trigger off one of those effects. But now we move on to the last card of today's video. It is known as Blazing Branded King, which is obviously a normal trap, and both of its effects are a hard once per turn. And the first effect reads: choose one fusion monster you control that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material, and negate the effects of all face-up cards currently on the field until the end of the turn. Yeah, it's basically, I believe you choose a fusion, like say Lubellion or something like that. Other than that card, everything else gets negated, which is pretty nuts. So it's sort of like, it's kind of like Dark Ruler no more, but in the form of a normal trap, which is pretty cool. The second effect reads: during the end phase, if a fusion monster or monsters was sent to your graveyard this turn, you can add this card from your grave to your hand. That's actually not too bad. It's not too bad. So just like just like Sword Soul Blazing Awakening, this card can also be added back to your hand. You can set it and then just constantly trigger off both effects over and over and over again, and it's basically a loop. That's pretty nuts. My thoughts on the new cards. The effects in my opinion could have been better, but I think out of all three of these cards anyway, I think the two that will probably see a lot of competitive play are probably going to be Sword Soul Blazing Awakening and I'm going to say Tri-Brigade Roar, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because with Roar, you have basically an Imperm as well. You have an Imperm, you have a Shackles, and you have a Compulse rolled into one card, which to be fair, compulsory evacuation device back in the day was literally like one of the most meta-defying cards in Yu-Gi-Oh. In fact, it didn't see a whole lot of play until we got into Go format, which Go format you literally would see 3 copies of Compulse in every single deck, even in decks like Monarch, Reaper Monarch, Troop Dupe Scoop, Teledad, Black Wings. You know, up until now, you do see Compulse get cited in from time to time. So that's why I believe that Roar could potentially be the new meta. But at the same time, at the same time, Blazing Branded King is more of a Dark Ruler no more. So I think, so I know I said Tri-Brigade Roar could be the new meta, but Blazing Awakening and Branded King are probably gonna be two of the main cards that will probably see more play than Tri-Brigade Roar. Tri-Brigade Roar will probably be more of a side deck card in all honesty, but that brings me to the question of the day, which is this. What deck are you guys looking to play when Cyberstorm Access gets released in the TCG? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more weekend news videos in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.